Let's talk about the Albanese Labor government and their best mates, the Greens. You know, the mob they rely on to get anything through the Senate. The Greens are the same mob that want to legalise drugs, have proposed death penalties, or death duties, sorry, and they also oppose negative gearing, as well as aggressively demonise Israel. Labor does preference deals with the Greens in almost every electorate, and most Labor MPs rely on Greens' preferences to get elected. That's how close they are. They're peas in a political pod. And after this election, Labor might actually need the Greens to guarantee supply in the lower house. In other words, to form government. Yet this is what we got from the Prime Minister at last night's leaders' debate.
Will you do a deal with minority parties, Prime Minister?
No.
Mr Dutton?
Not with the Greens, but with independents. And that's not a truthful answer from the Prime Minister there.
Yes, it is.
It's not. The Labor Party will fall over themselves to do a deal with the Greens. That's the reality.
It's just
you preference them, they preference
an untruth.
No deal with the Greens. If you believe that, well, you'd also believe Labor's promise that they were going to cut power prices by $275 a year. Or you'd believe the dodgy costings from renewable energy lobbyists that Labor uses to claim that the coalition's nuclear plan will cost 5 or 6 times what it will actually cost, much less, in fact, than Labor's renewables plan. So I suppose that in this environment, words are useless when it comes to political falsehoods. It's better to look at actions. And what did Labor do the last time they formed minority government? Well, that was when Julia Gillard signed a deal with the Greens. They actually inked it in front of the cameras. And the upshot of that was a carbon tax. Yep, the Greens got what they wanted, but voters did not. And what about Anthony Albanese's actions? Well, he says he will not do a deal with the Greens, as you just saw, but in his very own seat of Graindler, on his very own how to vote card, he's giving his second preference to the Greens candidate. Yeah, Albanese is recommending people give their second preference to Hannah Thomas of the Greens. Now, Thomas is your typical Green extremist. Hardline against big business, against dispatchable energy and against Israel. Here she is on social media with Greens Senator Mehreen Faruqi.
Like so many in our inner west community, I'm absolutely horrified by Israel's genocide in Gaza, which has resumed with increased ferocity since Israel broke the ceasefire.
Our government still won't take any real action. No sanctions, no ending the two-way arms trade, and no expelling the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah, that's Hannah Thomas there, the Prime Minister's second choice for his own seat. Albanese says he won't deal with the Greens. He won't do a deal with the Greens, but Labor's done a preference deal in his very own seat. And quizzed on it today, Albanese claimed he doesn't even know who that candidate is.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you if you'd have asked me who the candidate was.
Yeah, the Prime Minister of the country is recommending that voters give their second preference to someone he claims not to know anything about. Well, Albo, here's a little reminder.
My name is Hannah Thomas and I'm your Greens candidate for Graindler. We'll fight for truth, treaty and justice with First Nations people, an end to the cruel treatment of refugees and take a strong stand against Israel's genocide in Gaza.
Yeah, Hannah Thomas says a vote for her is a vote for Palestine, and Albo preferences her. Look, this is terrible, of course. This gives you an insight into the sort of people and the sort of attitudes that Labor is preferencing. The Greens will have enormous influence over Labor if they help them to form minority government. Labor will preference the Greens in almost every seat it holds right around the country. 69 of Labor's current 77 MPs were actually elected on Greens preferences. A vote for the Greens has long been a vote for Labor, but increasingly it seems that a vote for Labor is also a vote for the Greens.